As an American, I don't think we know what happiness is because our country is not set up for that. Hey, what's up, people? I am Jay Carrington, aka JC. I am the creator of Soulflix AI, the company that is helping you to explore deeper so you can evolve faster and create your intentional future. If you're new to the channel, or if you're old to the channel, you may know that we did a bit of a rebrand. This used to be the OVT network, but now it is Soulflix.ai, because this is completely geared to teaching you guys about technology, emerging tech, how tech can benefit your lives. It's also about lifestyle. Tech is a large part of the reason why I'm able to do what I'm doing right now, which is sitting here talking to you guys on my balcony with some plants and shit in the background looking all as I view the ocean sitting in front of my 1-bedroom loft condo, right? 2 floors, it's duplex, you see the stairs, they're right there. One of the things that I'm extremely passionate about is making sure that people that look like me and all of the variations and the skin tones and the hair combinations, I want to make sure that we are in the front of tech, that we are not forgotten in tech. Too often when it comes to technology, the white boys will make the technology, but we, the consumer, specifically we, the Black consumer, we teach these people how the tech should be used, and we don't really gain anything from it. And so this channel is my effort to combat that and make sure that people that look like me are also in the forefront of these conversations about these technologies, challenging the idea that you gotta be Chad from Silicon Valley to do some dope shit. You don't. You could just be you. You could just be a regular brown or black, American, Brazilian, whatever you want to be in this space, because tech affords us the ability to do that. With that being said, I said this is going to be lifestyle. So let's get into the lifestyle portion of it. I currently live in Brazil, and I've been in Brazil now for about 3 to 4 months. The story of how I got to Brazil is interesting. At the time, it was 2019. I usually do a yearly birthday trip that spans about 2 to 3 weeks, and I like to go out of the country. I was in my friend's car, going over these list of places, and Brazil was on the list. And he stopped me, and he said, "No, go back." He was like, "Yeah, Brazil sounds cool. I've heard a lot about it. Maybe you should try Brazil." So I came in 2019, 3 months before the pandemic. 3 months before the pandemic, y'all. And I went to Rio first. I went for New Year's. So that's one of the craziest times that you can go. Literally like 1 million people on the beach. I've never seen so many people on the beach who can't see the sand. That's insane. But on the plane ride down from Atlanta, I met a guy named Nick. Shout out to Nick. And Nick was like, "Yo, you got to come to Salvador." I was like, "What is Salvador?" He was like, "You got to come on." Flew up to Salvador, fell in love instantly. I spent about 7-8 days here, and I was like, "Oh, I'm moving. I came back to the States. I started learning Portuguese. I downloaded Babbel. Shout out to Babbel. If you want to sponsor me, was good. Spoiler alert, I also do speak Spanish. So learning the language to Portuguese was a bit easier because I had the basis of conjugation from the sister language. Took out money from my 401k. I was getting all set up to leave. I had it planned out. Me and my mom were going to go to Colombia for her birthday. Then I would send my mom back to the States. And then I was going to go to Brazil. And literally 3 days before the world shut down. Coronavirus! But I say that to say I came to Salvador and I spent time here and I just fell in love. And I was like, I think Brazil is where I want to live. It took me 10 years to figure this out. And it wasn't just I came and I went somewhere one time and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to move here." No. I had tried moving to London. London is one of my favorite cities in the world. That didn't work out. I thought about moving to South Africa. I moved to Joburg for my birthday as well, but that didn't work out. Third time was a charm on Brazil, man. Like, I feel like Brazil is really where I'm supposed to be at this moment, at this chapter in my life. And I also say that as a person that has done an extensive bit of traveling. I've been on every continent except for the continent of Antarctica, but it's on the list. I've been to about 25 or 26 countries, countless number of cities. If you want to talk about domestically, 50 states in the US, I've been to about 38 or 40. I don't even know how many cities I've been in over there. So I'm talking as a person that's done a bit of moving and mixing and mingling around. And I would strongly suggest that you do that before you decide to move anywhere else, but I'll make another video about that later. So now let's talk about the why I moved here. Reason number one, safety. I feel extremely safe here. coming from the United States, a lot of people would be like, isn't Brazil dangerous? Everywhere is dangerous. Everywhere is crazy. Everywhere has a level of something that you're going to have to deal with, right? As I'm filming this, it's carnival time right now. As a matter of fact, today is the last day of carnival. It's a holiday here. Things are closed because everybody's down on the other side of the island, of the peninsula partying. So I made a video about that and went like super viral on Instagram and TikTok about gringos at carnival. You can go check that out. I might have to post a link to it to put it right here. But when I think about being able to be in the middle of probably 1 million people.
Hey, JC here. I just want to interject and say that actually this year during Carnival, there were 3.5 million people that attended over the course of 6 days, which equals out to be about 583,000 people per day.
All on the street and I don't have to worry about a shooter. Like a mass shooter. That's insane. That's insane. If I was in the States or an event like that, I would be worrying constantly about somebody coming in and trying to shoot up the party. That is real life. That real things that we go through in the States that I just don't have to worry about here. Like I'm a cyclist, I bought a bike, I love to ride. I'll pass schools and they only have one security guard at the front. That's all you need here. Nobody is gonna come in and shoot up a school full of children. Nobody would do that. It's fucking insane. These are things that I would have to worry about if I was in the States, but I don't have to worry about here. Also, another thing when we talk about safety is I blend in here. If you don't know anything about Salvador, Salvador has the highest concentration of African descendants outside of the continent of Africa. So that's another reason I picked Brazil, specifically Salvador, is because there are so many people that look like me or my cousins that I just blend in. I don't want somebody to be able to walk into my condo building and be like, hey, is there a black guy that lives here? And somebody be like, oh yeah, you're talking about such. Absolutely not. I don't want to be walking down the street and somebody be able to kick me out of a crowd because I'm like one of 50 black people in a 50 square mile radius. That's an extreme liability, a really huge thing actually. All right, the second really important thing that I will say about moving to Brazil is a process called geo-arbitrage. Geo-arbitrage is basically when you move somewhere where your currency's money is valued at a higher rate. So what does that mean? When we talk about Brazil specifically, we can suffice it to say that $1 is equal to 5, almost 6 here. Then what that does for your quality of life is it raises it drastically. Like this apartment that I live in, oceanfront, nice condo, doorman, whole situation. I pay anywhere from, actually don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. I pay anywhere from about $600 or $700 a month, depending on the conversion rates, right? Especially in this current regime, but it's usually anywhere from between 600 to 700, middles out right around 650. And let's make pretend that Atlanta sat on the ocean. Okay, so if I had this apartment in Atlanta, it would easily be about $2,500, $3,000 US a month. And with that being said, if we talk about how much my apartment is in Brazilian reais, it's 4,000 reais a month. The numbers are comparable, but you get so much more time, freedom, value when you're able to take advantage of geo-arbitrage or take advantage of currency conversions. And again, that's not just Brazil. As an American, we have the privilege of going to many places and having our dollar either hold its value or exceed in value. So when we talk about South America, our dollar exceeds its value in South America. When we talk about the continent of Africa, our dollar exceeds its value on the continent of Africa. When we talk about Europe, at least for the time being, our dollar may lose a little bit of buying power, but by and large, it holds. So yes, geo-arbitrage is something that I recommend if you are able to do. This is a way that I could improve my life. And there are some other things that I'm going to talk about that comes along with being an American, specifically a Black American in a country like Brazil or a developing country, and having American dollars attached to your life and to your name can get heavy. I don't want to bog this video down. We're starting out light right now, and I want to keep it light, and I'll do that in another video. But yeah, geo-arbitrage, reason number 2. All right, and the last thing that I want to touch on, the reason why I moved, reason number 3 is going to be just happiness and culture. Brazilians are a happy people. They're helpful people. There are loving people. There are open people. There are kind people. But Brazil is not Disneyland. We talk about economic inequality. My God, there's a lot of it here. But what I will say is that there are people that don't have homes. They literally like sleep like on the beach, on the street, and they'll still look at you and be like, "Hey, bye." They'll just be so happy like to be alive. I've never experienced that before. And even when we talk about Carnival, it's this big, ginormous festival held all over this country. Think of it like Mardi Gras in New Orleans, but 100 times as big, 8 times as long, and countrywide, right? Not just the city of New Orleans, but the entire country of Brazil. And some cities have bigger carnivals than others, right? But people are happy, right? People are like drinking in the streets, dancing in the streets. Like, it is insane the amount of self-awareness and gratitude Brazilians have just about how important living life is, right? Life is to be lived. And it's something that I learned daily here. And the value of rest, the value of rest. So, and again, let's be clear. For any of the Brazilians watching this video, I am completely aware of the privilege that I have to be an American with American dollars living in this country. I even understand that maybe my perception of things would be different if, per se, I didn't make American dollars or I didn't transact internationally. But it would still be hard for me to believe, again, when I see homeless people smiling every day. It's not like they're drunk or high or nothing. Like, no, not back in the States. But if you see a homeless person smiling, it's because they geeked out. No, people here are just happy to be alive. And it's not just the city of Salvador. I have seen happiness across the board, at least in the north of Brazil. I ain't been to the south. That's a whole other video as well. People are happy, man. It does so much for your stress levels. It does so much just to be around people that are just literally happy to be alive. And the other thing, human connection is such an interesting thing here because human beings actually want to connect. I know a guy who lived in Rio who ended up moving back to the States. What I realized about this human being is that he's not that social. He likes to go out and do things, but he's more of a loner. Brazil don't do loner well. If you are not a social individual, you may not like it. You can go out to dinner with a group of people and nobody touch their phones for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Everybody just forgets. And it's completely normal. If somebody texts you and you're like, "Oh, my bad, I was out with friends." Oh, you're fine. Because they understand if you're out with friends, you're out with friends to have fun. You're out with people to connect with the people that you're with. Why are you on your phone?
Give me phone right now.
Reason number 3 is going to be happiness and culture. All right, so to wrap this up, the 3 reasons I chose for living in Brazil were: number 1, safety; number 2, finances; number 3, happiness. And I want to put a bow on that by saying, as an American, I don't think we know what happiness is. I don't think with the systems stacked against us, if you're not Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or Donald Trump or Mark Zuckerberg, if you're not a multi-billionaire or part of the 1%, I don't think you can actually know as an American what happiness is. Our country is not set up to enjoy. Our country is set up to work. That's what America's for, work. And I find that one of the hardest things for me leaving that place and coming to this place is getting out of that work mode and that work mentality. It is extremely difficult and I suffer because of it. There's a cognitive dissonance in what's going on around and in front of me and what's going on back home or what's going on in my bank account and this and that. Americans don't know how to be happy. And I will say that the journey to be happy, when I started leaving the United States, that's when I started to become happier. But yeah, we don't know happiness up there, girl. We don't know what that is. And if you want to argue and debate me, please put it in the comments.
Who gonna check me, boo?
If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching all the way through. Hope I didn't ramble too much. Hope I answered some of your questions. If you have anything that you want to ask, whether it be tech related or maybe lifestyle related, please put those in the comments below. And moving forward, we're going to talk more about differences, contrasts between my life in the States to my life here, as well as tech. I've built a very large following on TikTok off of a series I used to do called Bonding Basics, where I broke down these complex topics into very simple day-to-day kind of things. And people really gravitated towards it. And what that taught me is that a lot of people want to understand, but they need help understanding. A large part of the reason why I even moved to this country or moved out of the United States is to be able to do this right here, what I'm doing right now in front of you guys, just talking about life, talking about tech, talking about all of these things. So yeah, if you think I'm cool, if you think I'm cute, you think I got something to offer, go ahead, like, subscribe, share the video. Thanks for watching.